Good afternoon, everyone. Here from the DMV, it's your boy Shad Talks Graps on Instagram, OCDMV703. And by the way, you should also be following Wrestling Republic on Twitter as well. We are here to talk Monday Night Raw last night. And let's just say we got a little glimpse of what we used to watch in the Attitude Era in that main event, man. Noteworthy to say the very least, but I cannot cover a show without a prestige panel. I'm gonna first kick it off to who I feel like me and bro have been kind of on every Tuesday show together for these last few weeks. My guy out in the UK, Chaos. How you living, bro?
What's good? What's good, everybody? It is the final boss of Wrestling Republic. How y'all doing? Happy Tuesday. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about Raw, especially some of the spicier parts of it. I got a couple things to say, but yeah, I'm right here just sipping my Wraith energy drink. Make sure you go and get one of these as well when you get a chance. And yeah, I look forward to talk about it. So let's get straight to it, shall we?
Yes, sir. Yeah, definitely. Hey, by the way, I believe you have a promo code that gives a little bit of a discount to the people, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So for an extra 10% off, if you just type in Chaos Wraith, which is Chaos WRAITH, you get 10% off your order of all the products there. So yeah, be sure to help a brother out. And yeah,
Nah,
10%.
for sure. Definitely do that if y'all are able to. My bro said it's good energy drinks, and they also do it in the States as well. So be tuned to that. Um I can't do this without another person from the UK. And we ain't see I feel like me and bro ain't been on the show in a while, so I'm excited to see him back here. My guy Jordy, how you living, man?
Yeah, man, I'm good. It has been a while since I've been on a Tuesday, but it is good to be back. I don't have any promo codes or anything, but I'm drinking out of I'm drinking out of a scare canister. So if that's anything, but yeah, it was a spicy show for sure. We saw some things that I completely agree. It's Attitude Era esque. Maybe not quite as vivid as it was back then, but certainly leaning that way. So yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about from a very interesting episode, and it is good to be back on a Tuesday. Two's up.
For sure. And to y'all's point, and to what I said earlier, we gonna start it off with the main event, which was a rematch between Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch. I thought those two women had a phenomenal match over the weekend at the Queen of the Ring, King of the Ring, PLE. Ran it back in a cage match. It was a solid bout. We got to the ending where, you know, that deviant, dirty Dom Mysterio comes out to the end and is trying to help Becky. He tried to help her last time. It went against him, and he tried to help her again. And this time, his Judgment Day pals, which I will say earlier in the show, you see a lot of Easter eggs occurring with conversations with JD, conversations with Finn prior to another week with Liv Morgan, and them looking like they're trying to help Liv out. So trouble in paradise happening the Judgment Day. It eventually leads to Liv retaining. She's able to escape the cage, and we got a fiery scene towards the end of it. Us in the States did not see it on TV, but we got to see it on all social media platforms after that. And Liv, man, she gave Dom a little, pucker up on the lips. I mean, it was a little bit more than the pucker. If you see the close up, Shorty had the tongue in there, which is a little wild. But kissing Rhea's man in kayfabe, Dominic Mysterio, Dominic's real wife. I don't know how you feel about him in the WWE, but just know he is an actor. Um, but yeah, Liv going for what everything Rhea loves, and I'm gonna kick it off first. I will say this. I was very, very, vocal prior last week about Liv Morgan as a potential champion. I did say that I don't see her being able to lead a division per se, but the character work as a heel, she's hitting it like out the park. Like it's money right now. And the storyline tied to it with the Judgment Day, with Rhea Ripley has me invested. And this is probably one of the best booked storylines for women's wrestlers on WWE in a while. Like, I think WWE does struggle at times booking compelling storylines for women. The one with Liv and Rhea at the moment, when we get Rhea back, is going to be money. The Kiss got the internet going in cahoots. We got the people in the comments on Instagram going cahoots too. Ryko Matoy 97 saying Dom reacted with disgust and anger. I mean, Dom is the victim in this situation. He do have a broken arm. He couldn't push her off with both. But that's neither here or there. I gotta ask you, Chaos, because you and I was laughing about it in the group chat earlier this morning. Thoughts on everything, the main event, but the biggest talking point, the kiss between Dirty Dom and Miss Liv Morgan.
Whew. So I'm gonna just echo what I said in the last episode of the Daily. Whereas in the words of it was Future, the fact that obviously she was with she got with Dom and then backstage with Finn. Now on Monday you see her backstage talking to JD. I've said it before and I'll say it now. She belongs to the streets. All right. It's to the point where even I might have a chance right now. Hey, yo, Liv, actually, let me shoot my shot right now. Hey, Liv, if you're watching this, if you like a guy that's that's smooth talking, witty, geeky, like just whisper sweet nothings in your ear, hung like a horse, come holler at your boy. All right, cool. All right, baby. All right, cool. But I just put that out there. I'm joking. I'm playing. I'm good. I'm married. Anyway, moving on. The segment was funny as hell. It was crazy. The match itself was pretty heavy hitting. A lot of close calls. To be fair, I didn't really fear that she was going to lose the championship. But yeah, the whole build up, well, the final third was pretty unique, so to speak. Like, I haven't seen something like that from WWE in quite a while. It was a very unique finish, because we haven't seen something that's so intricately constructed as for a long while. The fact that you see obviously JD coming out, Dom coming out trying to help Becky again. Obviously the commentary was hilarious. And then obviously you see JD and Finn asking what's going on. You see Braun Strowman coming in. He obviously barges the cage door and it hits Becky. For me, that was quite unique enough, because you don't really see it's not your typical interference or dusty finish, if you will. So yeah, I'm liking that. Now the ending, very very attitude-esque. It's not out there, but I'm here for it. And yeah, like all jokes aside, obviously this is all part of her master plan. She wants to see the destruction of Judgment Day. And yeah, like I said, when Rhea comes back, it's gonna be like that Conor McGregor meme from Roadhouse. She's gonna be like, where the hell is everybody? You know what I mean? And she's gonna just be taken out. She's got some words for Dom. Obviously, Damian Priest probably is gonna be booted out sooner rather than later. But yeah, I'm loving it. I feel sorry for certain people in the US. I've been told that some states didn't really get to see that see what happened, but obviously they put it on social media. But yeah, it was awesome. Let's see what happens. More interestingly, I want to see what's happening with Becky Lynch, because with her post as well, God knows what's going on with her. So yeah. It's great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's so obviously we don't acknowledge dirt sheets and whatnot, but it is publicly known by Becky that she said that she had a little bit of time left on a contract left, and I think we are getting close to it. She said 2 months around it, about 2 months ago. So it definitely, historically in blow off matches and cage matches where you put someone over, that's kind of like the swan song that you're putting over the next up and coming talent. So it is telling. We're not here to fantasy book what's going to happen to Becky Lynch, but it is interesting. Like you said, with her post, a couple of her posts, right? The post last night and then the post today. Obviously saying happy birthday to Seth Rollins, saying I'm coming home. We don't know what's next for her, and that would be a monumental loss if they did lose her in that women's division. But
yeah, I mean, she could. I mean, yeah, I don't think she's gonna go to the other side. I feel like most likely, I think she wants to finally actually be a mom. Instead of traveling with her daughter every day, and yeah, she's got her book. She's probably she's got acting as well. So I think she's just gonna do enough ventures, and I think she's got enough trust with WWE that she ain't gonna go anywhere. It would be crazy if she went to the other side, but I just can't imagine it. I think she's just going to take some lengthy time off, and she deserves it.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know her personally. Well, I do know her personally because I did.
Oh yeah, you met her.
Had a
Yeah,
conversation with her, but I don't know her like that, obviously. And but I would, probably, say the same thing as you. Just knowing how it is, being a mother, man, like having a little one, like, and having your partner, on the road, like they literally on the road all the time, traveling together, raising a little one on a bus together when they're not at home. It is difficult, man. So we'll have to wait and see. But Becky is good at this, man. Like I think Anthony said it over the weekend on the review show. She is one of the best at putting people over, and I think Liv Morgan's like character has elevated within these two matches against Becky Lynch. Like I didn't think their whole feud was that good going into Queen of the Ring, King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring in Saudi, but I think the match on Saturday and then what happened last night kind of catapulted Liv to a different level. But yeah, I gotta ask you, Jordy, how did you feel about the main event? And just everything tied to the Liv Morgan Judgment Day storyline, and obviously the smooching between her and Dom.
Yeah, man, the smooch took me by surprise. Although it was in a sense where I was looking and I was like, are they gonna like? It looks like they're gonna kiss. Is she gonna kiss him? And obviously she did. And yeah, it's just strange to see it on WWE TV again. But it does make sense in the storyline, and I completely agree. I think this storyline between Liv and Rhea with their history as tag partners and with what's transpiring now and what probably will transpire and go on before Rhea makes some kind of triumphant return. There's just layers, man, and like even this Becky and Liv thing that was a story within that overarching sort of larger story has been solid. I think Becky's done exactly the job that she was here to do in terms of just elevating Liv that little bit more and creating that little bit more anger within Liv by coming second again in the Battle Royal to win the belt initially. So yeah, man, I think it's been solid. I thought the match was good. I wish they'd given it a little bit longer purely because we saw what Becky was capable of in a steel cage match when she had one with Trish, and that was such a good match. So when I just saw Becky in a steel cage match, I had hopes that it was going to be kind of given that amount of time again. But it is what it is, and I agree with Chaos. I think to have an ending that was that kind of planned out, with the way it just kind of ended up transpiring with mine's gone blank. Braun Strowman running around and hitting him at the perfect time to knock Becky. Because right now, and it was hardly, like you said, he only has two hands, so he could hardly fully push away. So right now, Dom can still play the victim, and there is a storyline for that. Whether that's actually the truth, we'll come to realize that. But I wonder as well, the way that LWO seem to be feuding with the Judgment Day now, if Liv does end up in there, I would like to see Zelina get another chance at the title, although she'll probably lose. But it'll probably be a good filler feud until Rhea does come back. So I'd be excited to see that as well going forward. But yeah, all thumbs up from me, man.
For sure. I don't dislike that idea. I think Zelina is a person who deserves a lot. Her and Lyra had a couple interactions backstage a couple weeks ago. Lyra is also, Becky's little protege. That could be an option. And they got a lot of other women. Sonya Deville just came back. You got Shayna.
Yeah.
You got every. You know who I think needs to get back in the title picture? Maybe not at this moment, but this isn't a topic, but I feel like I want to just mention it. Io Sky last night just
Mm.
furious,
Yeah,
so
she lost it.
mad that Damage Control took another loss and Kyrie took a loss, and how great. Like I think she had not a bad match the entire tournament, uh, leading into the Queen of the Ring. You know, that's another person, former champ. Maybe it's a little too soon to get her back in the title picture, but like that's someone like if Rhea gets the title off of Liv again, that's a feud I need to see run back because those two women have great chemistry
Yeah.
in ring wise.
For sure.
One thing I want to say about Dom as well, like especially I didn't really get to say, but obviously that's something when and in the aftermath and his reaction, I think it was like the level of it was layered. It was like three hays. It was just like, hey, hey,
Hey,
hey.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
It was so confused. It was so awesome. You didn't know what to do.
nah,
Yeah.
no, I'm gonna be real, man. Like I know a lot of people. I'm not like a big Dom like fan as a wrestler, but off of a character standpoint, like he does well. I think he found himself because he's a goofy dude, and I think he plays the goofy guy really well into it. And yeah, it's working out. This storyline's definitely got some legs, and definitely excited to keep. Hey man, can't get rid of Judgment Day. That's all I got to say. Let me read a couple comments real quick. We got the Chatch WWE saying Liv deserves every bit of that title, much deserved, and was way overdue for a proper title reign with an actual creative team and plans for her. I do agree with you on that. I think it is gonna be more, you know, you already see the storyline built for her when she won the Money in the Bank and had that dumb feud with Ronda Rousey. It was definitely trash.
Yeah.
Other people, he's also saying I'm from New Jersey and the USA Network literally. I don't know if I can say that word. Us, so I feel your pain. Hey man, it look, they don't like us in the States, and I definitely got to put this dumb comment right here from the man who's probably never watched a rap battle in his entire life. You played yourself, buddy. You played yourself.
I mean, he's the best rapper in the movie of all time. I mean, come on now, calm down. I love Eminem. He's my top two, but comment. So come on now, man. Like
Yeah,
he probably was his introduction to hip hop, and he thinks that's the only thing that's out there. Like, calm yourself.
for sure. All right, well, we're gonna keep it rolling. And following on this show, we had another lengthy segment, if I may have to say.
Oof.
Very long, 21 minutes and counting, actually. I did count last
Oof.
night. Started off the show, which was Gunther having his commencement of being the new king. Ludwig, always dope with the intro. Gunther not wearing the crown, which I thought was interesting. But it plays to his character, followed by him and Damian Priest having an exchange, talking about the possibility fighting at SummerSlam. Then we got Drew coming in, and all three of these guys are talking, 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 talking. I like the world heavyweight title picture. I just thought this segment was a lot. I feel like there's ways you could shorten it out and didn't have to be all of this, but it is what it is. I gotta ask you, Chaos, what are your thoughts on the segment? And yeah, it was too long, right?
In terms of the length, I mean, it definitely didn't feel long as the other segment, which we're going to talk about. Like when you said 21 minutes, I mean that does sound. It's definitely 21 minutes similar to the Bloodline saga. Like those were like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it didn't feel like that. This didn't feel like 20 minutes, unlike the other segment, which we're going to talk about, and that was a chore. But I agree. The title picture does look pretty sweet and stacked. He's got like a lot of potential opponents and that's trying to take Damian Priest off his pedestal. And yeah, I'm all here for it. Now, when you said about the crown and him not wearing it, I totally expected that. That kind of goes exactly with his character, unlike with Queen Nia Jax. She's planned to have a whole coronation, and I called it and Ben was like, "Oh no, it's just I can't imagine that happening." She's the one that will go full in on the royalty gimmick because it suits her. Whereas with Gunther, yeah, he carries the crown, but he doesn't need to wear it to prove it. He really calls himself the ring general. He believes that obviously he brings prestige to the ring and has that honor. He doesn't need to crown to prove it. Sure, he's king of the ring, but he still goes around saying that he was already king. He just had to win the tournament just for bands, pretty much. So I'm totally here for that. So yeah, he's doing it perfectly. Nia Jax is doing it perfectly on SmackDown. And yeah, the world title picture looks good. I'm excited to see where they could go either way. They can make Damian Priest retain or make McIntyre win it, and then obviously make it go off with there, because obviously you got Punk in the wings as well. So like, so this is what you need to, you don't it's not clear cut. There's so many ways how they can implement Gunther into this. Like, I'm still calling for him to say, you know what, I ain't waiting for SummerSlam. I want to win it in my hometown. I want to win it at Bash of Berlin, or have my title match at Bash of Berlin, and then do something, maybe the rematch at SummerSlam, something bigger than that. Call your shot. Why not? So yeah, I thought it was perfect. They layered it perfectly. The promos were way better than the later segment that we're going to talk about. And yeah, it was great. I'm looking forward to Clash of the Castle, SummerSlam, Bash of Berlin, all of it. It's going to be good. No complaints.
You know what I agree with you on that is there is honestly a case for any three of those men to be champion.
100%.
And it's the fact that, like, we do have 3 potential matches already set in stone for these pay-per-views coming up. Like, it does have you wondering, because it's like Priest, as much criticism as Priest gets, I think he is doing a lot better as champ within these
100%.
last few weeks.
I don't see what the criticism are. I don't know.
Criticism isn't too fair in my opinion, and I think he's starting to really, especially like, I like the Judgment Day stuff right now, because it's a lot of, what is happening on, like, like the building's on fire after Rhea got hurt, and then you add the element to Liv, but you also have to add the element to Damian, because he's ego tripping a little bit, and he's also on the other side. I don't know if you can trust your people, because they all moving behind their back, moving kind of funny.
One thing I'll also add as well, Drew McIntyre, I like to call him he's the Cat Williams of wrestling, meaning as in he's predicting stuff. Like, he's always saying, he said that he warned Seth Rollins, you got too much on your plate. You should be focusing on me. And then obviously he won the championship at Mania. Drew is also saying the same thing to Damian. He's saying you got too much on your plate. You're focusing on Judgment Day. Then you got Gunther. You got me. But like you're spinning too many plates, and you should be focusing on me right now. I'm the one that's next. I could completely ruin everything. So, and that is to the point where you actually you might believe him. He could actually take the title from Drew, and he'll be like, I told you, bro. I told you. Like, you should have been focusing on me. You're trying to do too many stuff at once. You should be focusing on one thing. So yeah, that's what I'm calling. He's the Cat Williams of wrestling, because he's predicting stuff and it's coming true. So we'll see what happens.
Not for sure. Jordy, were you going to add something to
that? Only I reckon Drew and Damian ends. Someone's interfering. I think Judgment Day are gonna interfere at some point and gonna cost him that title, or CM Punk's gonna show up. I don't think it's going to be a cleave. It's one of them two things is happening. And if it's CM Punk, man, he needs to get out of there fast. I would not want to be him in that situation.
Drew must be myself or Sabrina the Teenage Witch. He got a black cat with him all the time, because his luck is so bad, bro.
I want Punk to come out, and then I just want to see I want to get the reaction from Soul. I want him to be so triggered. I'm betting for Punk more than Judgment Day, in my opinion. I want Punk.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. What also makes sense is following the Wrestling Republic team and following everything that we're doing. And you might ask, how do I find everything in one place? Well, I'll tell you, man. Our good friends at NXConnect.me, next level, they will be able to give you everything Wrestling Republic related. It is a one-stop shop for all of our links. You can find the Instagram, the X, the YouTube, the website. It is so easy, so accessible. I even have it on my bookmarks whenever I need to click on stuff over here. I highly advise everyone to use it, download the app, and more importantly, rock with them, because they like to give free stuff. And if you're like me, I enjoy free stuff. Always having openings for contests in regards to flying someone to Mania, giving someone $100 for the WWE shop. Who knows? Buying your WWE 2K. I don't think they're gonna give you the AEW game because they put in that free on the PlayStation Share. But regardless, rock with them. Great people over there. And yeah, let's continue this show because we had a rematch, and normally I'm whatever about rematches, but the fact that these guys have incredible chemistry had me excited. But what had me more excited is what happened after the match. We had Ricochet, Ilya Dragunov. I love the backstage convo of Ricochet, paying the ramifications last week from a Mr. Braun Breaker, but still wanting to go. And Ilya is saying, I want you at 100 because I got you at 75, and I know you're hurt. I'm going to hurt you even more. Solid bout. Braun Breaker ruins the match, and he spears Ricochet, spears Ilya Dragunov, does not listen to Mr. Adam Pearce, and Braun Breaker is being displayed like what Ben said earlier, like their version of Brock Lesnar, which is dope because I think he does have parallels to how his presentation is to that. But like this mid card scene in the Raw roster, borderline, you could argue these guys can get to the main event scene at some point. It's phenomenal. I gotta ask Jordy, what are your thoughts on the match and just the direction for all three of these guys?
Yeah, the match, like you said, they've got great chemistry. We've seen that. I could probably watch these two wrestle every day, and I like you. I'm not a massive fan of overdoing rematches, but I liked the way they built it backstage too. I think what did Ilya say? He said something like, "I fight to break people, but I don't fight broken people," and I liked that. I thought that was cool. And yeah, the way that these guys, particularly the ones from NXT, because we all know that Ricochet can go, but the way that these are both being portrayed on the main roster, I think is fantastic. I think honestly, this generation that's coming through, Carmelo as well down on SmackDown, how he's involved in the mid card straight away. You could see them going for that mid card title, like the way that Braun's being put across. It's like he could just squash Sami. Like it's crazy. Like you would be like, well, yeah, it's mad, but I guess that's the way they're going with him. Maybe the new Brock Lesnar, but I think it's just a great picture to show where wrestling is because we don't only have these main event stars like Cody's. Obviously, Roman's having a break, but people like that, them kind of big names. You also in the mid card, you have these really good up and coming names that people are really excited about, as well as people that have been here for a while that we're still excited to watch, like Ricochet. That's something that when I talk back about watching the Attitude Era and eras like that when I was younger, that was what made them so special. It was that you weren't just excited for the main event, you were excited for every feud that was going on, including tag teams and everything like that. And it does seem like we're heading back that way. Whether we give the credit to the booking, whether we give the credit to the talent, it's probably a combination of both. But I think what's going on with these two, and like I say, Ricochet in particular, it just speaks volumes of the position the WWE are in, and I think the future is very bright.
Nah, for sure. And man, I so I I don't want to make it a WWE versus AEW thing, but I thought Will Ospreay had a very intriguing quote about Ricochet. Obviously, they have a close relationship in regards to what Ricochet is kind of underutilized in the WWE space and how he'd be more utilized outside possibly if he ever had his contract up. Um, I think Ricochet is just one of those guys that puts his head down and does the job they tell him to do, and he's really good at this. Now, whether you see higher, aspirations for him. He has one goal before. I mean, he is technically a champ, but we don't. That's a paper title. But it's one of those things where I feel like he does the role that he needs to do, and I think he's fine with it. And he's very very good at giving he's like the perfect dance partner. Like he knows all the moves. He's gonna get you through the match. He's gonna make you look dominant. He's gonna look great himself. Yeah, man, and I like the chemistry between him and anybody really, because him and JD was lights out too. Like he's the guy that is the cogwheel that helps a lot of these guys coming into the main roster and be able to work. But I would like to see him do more stuff eventually. But at the moment, I like this potential triple threat, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
dynamic with all three of them. So yeah. All right. Next segment was one that I don't. It was weird. And then it was kind of sad towards the end of it. So the second part was a little bit more sad. The first segment was, it was an ice cream truck segment with R Truth and the Miz, and I said it last week, bro. I'm done with them as tag champions. Like it ain't. You are diluting the tag team titles, having it with them too. And I like R Truth. I think he's funny. And I think it's funny humor, but what's the difference of this humor than when he had the titles with the 24/7 title? Like you got a lot of talented guys who could probably use that tag title. I don't see any significance with them running ice cream segment. Like it just it ain't funny to me like that. Like it's very like oh like you've seen that in comedy films like Vanilla Ice Cream, and you're Strawberry like trying to play off of the like I get it, but it wasn't that funny, and they're not doing nothing as a tag champs. The more interesting thing was the New Day and this dynamic that they had with Karrion Cross, because I don't know what they're leading to it. I don't know if this is gonna lead to Woods and Kofi breaking up. You know, the New Day could maybe shake up and change stuff. I don't know if it'll be beneficial or not, but they do not feel as much of a unit without having Big E, and that's kind of a sad situation. But we'll see what happens. That segment happened following a squash match with AOP and the Creed brothers. I gotta ask Chaos, do you find enjoyment in this awesome title reign? And then more importantly, like the Karrion Cross and AOP stuff. How do you feel about that?
No, I agree that this Awesome Truth thing is absolutely ass. Now, I would have been fine with it being a Zack Ryder situation where they win at WrestleMania and then they lose at the next night of Raw. This is one tag team or one situation where I'll be happy with that happening, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree. Yeah, like I say, I still feel like they won the championships, or mainly because R Truth as a thank you for being with this company for so long, and bringing funny segments to the TV screen and everything else. So that's what I feel like. But yeah, it's pretty much played out. Miz ain't doing anything with it. R Truth is clearly the standout out of this tag team. But yeah, I'm definitely ready for someone serious to take the championships. Is that going to be AOP? I hope not. As much as they're meant to be this dominant force, but yeah, like right now, out of them, I think they're the only real standouts on Raw. That could probably take them, but I really don't want that to happen. I'm more intrigued by the Karrion Cross and New Day situation. I would be totally up for the New Day splitting up. Obviously, I know they've long said that they want to be the one of the very few tag teams that never split, or one person turns on the other. They might not have to do that, but something's got to give with the New Day. It's only so long you can live on that namesake, and especially because Big E is not there, that is a huge piece of them missing. And obviously, because literally his future is right up in the air, we may not be able to get the full stable. And yeah, he's someone that is very vital to that stable. So yeah, I'll be fine with. I would love to see either Xavier Woods or Kofi Kingston be heels, especially. I mean, we never really seen Kofi Kingston as a heel. I know they were a heel as a tag or a faction before, but yeah, something needs to give, man. I still feel like there's still some fuel in Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods as main event stars. I totally believe that. It's just obviously when Kofi was main event, he got the championship. He didn't really get to flourish as much because of creative, I guess, when he was champion. But yeah, I'm more interested in that. See where it goes. But yeah, get the championships of the Awesome Truth. Something needs to give. I just hope it's not AOP.
Nah, and to your point, I feel like a heel Xavier Woods could be really interesting because he's got a sense of charisma,
100%.
and like I think he could make it work.
And he can
And
go in the ring as well. He's not just he's not just a charisma guy. Like he has got, and he's got some. He had King of the Ring, you know, like so.
Mhm.
He's got stuff behind him. One of the biggest shocks to me as well was that they kind of squashed the Creed brothers because
Yeah,
before
I was gonna
if
say
that
as
hadn't
well.
happened, they would have been people who I said could be in the running. But
Yeah.
now after that, I'm like, whoa! I thought you
Yeah.
were building
I
these
do
guys up.
feel I do feel like they're building that up definitely for the unexpected heel turn and joining the Alpha Academy. Again, we'll go into that segment later on, but yeah, I feel like because obviously there was some interaction with Gable and Alpha Academy and the Creeds a couple of weeks back, and I feel like you're just gonna run them into the ground and then they're gonna need some help to obviously build them up to get that championship because that's what they want. So I feel like that's what they're doing. Yeah, to
That's a
join
good
their
shout.
company.
Yeah. That's a good shout.
yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think that is probably we'll get to that obviously at the end with who they can eventually align with, but you don't want to give them too many L's because then the
No.
crowd won't care about them, you know. So it does. I know Gable was over, but like still, you don't want to bury him a little too much. Cross in the faction, they're intriguing looking, but like you said, I don't. AOP don't do a lot for me either. Like
No.
they're just two big dudes, but like it ain't like they put in world star like classic like matches. They're gonna just have to squash everyone, and that is kind of boring. But that's neither here or there. What was kind of boring was
Kind of. Oh.
man, 2004 is the last time we saw Rey Mysterio and Carlito wrestle, and they wrestled last night, and that made me feel really old. But I did like 2004 Carlito when he was a young guy. 2024 Carlito, eh. I do find it a little. So they had a match. Obviously, these guys can't separate from each other. Everything tied to, Latino talent has to always be tied together. Because I think I saw Santos and Andrade eventually going to feud on SmackDown. But Ray and Carlito had a match. What I found more interesting is what happened after, because Damian Priest hit a razor's edge on Rey Mysterio and all that, and we had all the streamline everything the Judgment Day. But Carlito was trying to join the Judgment Day. I don't mind that storyline a little too much, but I don't know if it's just me being so like off put by these guys always being tied together in a storyline. Jordy, do you share similar thoughts, or am I just being a grumpy old man?
No, man, you're not being a grumpy old man. I totally see what you're talking about, and yeah, I'd probably say I agree. It wasn't the best match I've ever seen, but wasn't the worst. At one point, I noticed that Carlito had gear on that kind of felt like a bit of a throwback, and I thought that was nice. But when you're looking at that in a match, it's probably because the match isn't that great. But that being said, it seems to be building to some kind of LWO and Judgment Day situation because obviously they took out Dragon Lee and things like that. And I don't know. I think it's important for Carlito that he goes over in this feud with Rey Mysterio if it's going to go further. Rey Mysterio's forever loved. He'll always. I don't know how many times he'd have to lose on the bounce for us to like consider Rey Mysterio's buried or anything like that. But I really think Carlito, since showing up back up in WWE, and I like him. I really had high hopes. I thought he looked in good shape when he sort of did his cameo appearances at things like Backlash and stuff like that. So I was excited, but he's not been booked well at all. Like even the whole somebody's injured Dragon Lee, wonder who it is. Like that's not good. That's not a good storyline to be a part of, man. We know who it is. Like we just want this fight between Carlito and Ray. This is what we wanted back then when we found out someone had took out Dragon Lee because we all know who it was, and it happened on Monday Night Raw, not as the main event. So it's just all kind of feels like a bit of a wet flannel, really, mate. But I hope that something good comes out of it, which I won't write off at this point. I think they can build something good out of this. Like I say, just a big kind of LWO Judgment Day situation, and yeah, that's all I've got to say about that.
Nah, for sure. And I mean, honestly, it is what it is. We'll see what happens with it from there. I ain't really got much to say after that.
Hmm.
We get to our last topic of the day, and it is dealing with the Alpha Academy. Otis and Bronson Reed had a quite short match, and Chad Gable wanted Otis to be punished. He had the belt out. He was trying to get Maxine to whip him. Sami Zayn comes for the save. I'm liking Chad Gable's heel turn. I think it's interesting. I think it is going to benefit Otis when it matters, but it's splitting hairs because a lot of it is two different rivalries and how you're booking it. I feel like Gable is coming off as so much of an inferior heel at time where I think we're gonna want Sammy to go over, and I feel Gable needs to kind of go over Sammy when they have their feud. Um, I'm just gonna kick it off to you first, Chaos, because I know you said that you weren't a big fan of the segment. Break it down for me.
I mean, yeah, I definitely wasn't a big fan. I mean, like it would have been fine if it was probably 5-10 minutes shorter. But yeah, it just like the whole buildup was just weird for me. Like obviously the match, Otis had a match against, see, I completely forgot who the Otis face. Oh, Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed.
And yeah, that match was fine for what it was. And obviously he was teasing to do the caterpillar. And again, Gable was like, say, no, you don't do it. You know, you're gonna lose. And sure enough, he did. He got hit with a tsunami. And then he decides to call a meeting. And then obviously when he said that, I thought, yeah, this is definitely the disintegration of the Alpha Academy. They're officially getting booted out. Went a commercial break, came back. All he does is just obviously cuss them down, and then he said, like, you know, if you ain't gonna listen, I'm gonna give you some discipline. And then he whips out the belt, and I was just like, all right, this is a bit corny. Like what are you doing? This is something that the old regime would do. And then obviously, so he makes him say, all right, go to the ropes. He was about to do it, and then Maxine obviously stops it, and then she was just like, and he was like, what you doing? And at first, I'm not gonna lie, I thought they were gonna go extreme because I thought he was gonna say something like, all right, do you want this as well? But I was just like, no, this is 2024. They ain't gonna do that. So yeah, she gets booted out. It's still more belittling to Tozawa. It's just weird how all of a sudden just taking all this crap from him. And then Sami Zayn comes out, and then yeah, it just went on and on. It was, I'm not gonna lie, for me to a point, it felt like white noise, and it was literally in the background for me because there was this. It just felt like they were just biding their time, like they were just trying to fill time. But then they could have given that to Becky and Liv, because I agree with Jordy. I feel like that could have been a lot longer. But they gave all this time to this one, and then yeah, it just all ended flat with me. I agree. It's got something's got to pay off with Otis, and that situation. But yeah, I don't know why they're longing this out. I really don't understand. I feel like that could have been the right time to say, you're all out of the Alpha Academy. Get out of my sight. You all suck. And then maybe introduce the Creed brothers in there. Like instead of having them squashed maybe earlier, have them just jump them, Tozawa and Otis, and maybe Ivy Nile take out Maxine and say like, this is my new Alpha Academy. This is the real one. And then there you go, Team Angle right there, 2.0. That would have probably been interesting, but yeah, like not just stress this all out and then have Sami Zayn out of nowhere try to be the savior. Because at the end of the day, this ain't really his fight. This is within the camp. Like, why are you butting in and trying to say like, no, Otis, you're better than this? I'm just like, nah, it went on too long for me. I just hope that it does. There's a lot of momentum behind Gable and stuff, but yeah, this was the bit of a lull for me. This felt longer. You felt the minutes in this one, and yeah, they could have done a lot better. So definitely the weak point of the show.
I will say this. It is what put me to sleep last night because I did fall asleep around that time frame when this segment happened, and it dragged, like, to your point, and it's one of those things where, like, I do agree with you. Where I feel like it's same with the ice cream thing. Like, that's very old regime storytelling. Like that type of humor. Like you gonna spank this grown man, a big dude. Like, I know that looks funny and silly, but it's kind of weird too. And I do agree. The thing is this, and I think this is what I stressed about. And it my main issue is that we are turning him heel to create more of a serious character with him. We're getting away with all the shoes, all of that gimmicky stuff. That's gimmicky. That's the silly stuff that the Alpha Academy was doing. And in a sense, not as like with the shoosh and all that, but it's corny, like you're saying. And I think like we need to get like I like Gable as a serious guy, and I like him as a prick. I don't I think, yeah, being able to kick had these dudes kick the curb, get in the crease, Ivy now establishing a new Alpha Academy is the way to go. When we get to it, I'm not sure. It is I know that they want to pull us by the heartstrings with Otis and Maxine. I will say he's mad disrespectful to Maxine. Say she got 3 brain cells earlier.
Yeah.
Like that's so foul. Poor girl. She's a bright woman. Don't listen to her. All right. But I gotta ask you, Jordy, thoughts on the segment, man. Thoughts on Chad Gable, Otis. Break it down.
I think, echoing what you guys said, the word, and it was what my wife said as well. It was at points it was uncomfortable to watch, and that's not something you ever want on WWE TV. It felt a bit awkward as well. Like, but I think it's almost even too soon for Otis to. I think he needs to lean in. I think he needs to be a heel with Gable for a bit longer and actually look like he might be enjoying it, and then something happened down the line. But yeah, I certainly like the idea.
Taken. With Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, true, very true. No, yeah, but I like the idea of the Creed brothers coming in. To be fair, but I just don't think it had to happen like that. Like you say, I don't think it's done anything necessarily for good. Maybe we're all saying that we really don't like him after that, and it made us uncomfortable. And maybe that was the aim. Because when I was younger, and if we're talking about Kurt Angle, I hated that guy, man. But obviously, you're younger, you don't understand the business in the same way. So maybe it's to try and make that younger generation genuinely hate this guy, and maybe they'll achieve it. But I don't think it'll necessarily hurt his chances of getting the IC title, and I think he'll have a good reign. I think he is in early days of this kind of nasty heel coach character. So I'll give him his due. That wasn't the best I've seen, but I've seen very, very much more promising stuff from him. So I'm still definitely excited to see what comes from Gable as a heel.
Nah, for sure. And it isn't like so. This isn't the end of Chad Gable or anything like that for sure. Like I think you can bounce back. You know,
easy.
But I do think it's gonna be beneficial for him in the long haul. I want to see my thing is this, right? I think he needs to be the next IC champ. But if we have episodes like this, you know, we lose momentum. We just talked about it earlier, man. Braun Breaker, that's a guy that you're not going to want to not have gold sooner than later.
Yeah.
And if it becomes a situation where Braun Breaker is getting hot, that's a perfect person to beat a lovable babyface like Sami Zayn and getting that title off of. So it's splitting hairs more so. It's working. It's good now. But let's not hold it too long until the next man up comes and takes his spot. That's just how wrestling is. But we'll have to wait and see. Before we head off, Chris Leclerc, Gemini Gang, birthdays in 5 days. My birthday is on June 6th, so our birthdays are close, man.
Happy birthday in advance.
Yes, sir. Yeah, just remember to comment on June 5th, and if we're on, we'll shout you out again. But that's the end of the show, man. I appreciate all of y'all tuning in, and we'll be back tonight. NXT off the air, because y'all know who's going to be on TV. Ski! Sexy Red.
No, God, no. I just realized what you just said. Oh, my goodness. That is, yeah, I look forward to hearing all the comments of how bad that segment was. We'll see what happens, but yeah.
So y'all take care, man. Peace.